Today, we'll see what differentiates the best from the best. While both Kobe and LeBron share the throne as NBA legends, their unique approaches in their quest to get there might surprise you. And who better to tackle this subject than someone in their own league? The 8-time All-Star Dwight Howard. So let us hear it. From one All-Star to two of the greatest All-Stars ever. Foremost, Dwight Howard wanted to destroy LeBron Kobe. In sports, a competitive rivalry is not just healthy, it's vital. If you look up to someone, the best tribute you can give them would be to outsource and outclass them. Perhaps this is just what makes sports so great. It's a tower that only rises higher with each generation. No exception to this discovery himself, NBA rookie Howard was initially looking forward to destroying Kobe and LeBron after they took center stage in a Nike commercial that he felt was simply underserved. It's also no secret that the history of basketball runs parallel to the history of some of the biggest sports brands. Nike, too, came out with a 2009 pre-finals commercial featuring LeBron and Kobe in the finals of the championship. So wasn't it a worthy accolade for two of the most mainstream basketball stars and biggest sports brands of the 2000s? Not to Dwight, because LeBron's Cavaliers didn't make it to the finals. That's also proof of how closely he's followed the stars' runs and didn't want them to take a freebie, even if it was from Nike. This included the ad, which Howard didn't feel LeBron deserved after falling short of the final himself. Plus, if you can't pull your weight in basketball, your fellow player will be the first to remind you. And that's what Dwight did. Give LeBron a run for his money in the East Finals, where the 6'10" center beat LeBron's Lakers in a 4-2 series win. It was certainly a brutally honest reality check from one star to another. Let's look at what made Kobe and LeBron so uniquely different from Dwight. When it's two of the greatest ever in basketball, it's easy to overlook the differences and hard to ignore the tag of greatness with their name. Sure, they might have come up with different teams from different hometowns and with different attitudes, but they were the greatest ever. Surely, luck and dedication are a fixed, surefire formula for success. If that were the case, we'd all be the greatest. As someone who's seen two of the greatest Hall of Famers up close and also observed it come into shape, Magic Mike had a front row seat to the action, and he suggests that while the madness might have been the same, a mad desire to win, the method behind it differed for Kobe and LeBron. And while the results of their training were roughly similar, top scores in on-court averages, their preparation off-court was poles apart. Describing Kobe as a straight shooter, locked in and focused, you can visualize the player's intimidating impact on his teammates, to whom he seemed more coach than a teammate. On the other hand, Dwight saw LeBron as similarly focused, locked into his zone, and an all-rounder simultaneously. Whatever their methods may have been, they both tuned out the distractions and focused on their goal. And that goal didn't mean just making that dunk or catching that rebound, but it meant becoming the best versions of themselves as a player. Now for the Kobe we know wasn't the same Kobe whom Dwight knew. The 8-time All-NBA team honoree's certainly shown that he's a team player, and part of that drills a keen observation of other players. In sports where ego, grit, and determination are equally valuable as communication, honor, and loyalty, Dwight added cheerleading your heroes to the mix. These skills made Dwight Howard a great center and an informed commentator on his peers. When it comes to Kobe, though, even the center for the Taoyuan Leopards lost his usually centered, calm personality and entered a professional rivalry when both NBA All-Stars were playing for the Lakers in their 2012-2013 season. This proved to be good for both of them, but especially for Dwight, who reflected on missing the chance for a successful partnership with Kobe. It's also a memory tough to erase, as the fire between the two failed to fuel them to a win, but all's well that ends well, right? Yes. Years after that fateful first round of the 2013 playoffs, Howard dismissed the idea of any harsh feelings between the players. In fact, Howard moved on to a spectacular defense player for the same Lakers, proving again that teamwork and communication do perhaps make the dream work. And he credited Kobe for being a good person, but most importantly, a great basketball player. So that while he'd retire by the time of Dwight's resounding rebound with the Lakers, he'd passed on the rules of the game to the younger player. What's more, these rules motivated Dwight's stirring tribute to Kobe. You'd certainly never guess that the Kobe-Dwight, who were constantly fighting it out off-court in their first partnership for the Lakers, were the same two who were close to playing a dunk contest at the 2020 All-Star Game. But for Dwight, this dream of his remained unfulfilled with Kobe's tragic death. Still, he made the dream a reality by always playing games with the classic Mamba mentality of his own. This is because his close association with Kobe was as professional as it was personal. It also makes perfect sense as to his emotional outburst in the days after his mentor's death, but as Kobe would have agreed, he decided to release all the emotion on the court and solidify himself as a reigning successor to the Mamba. And if you think Kobe was a hardcore drill sergeant, you wouldn't be wrong. But there might have been a tender, playful side of his that only partners and teammates like Dwight know. So to the D12, Kobe wasn't only the greatest basketball player, he was also the greatest dad. Perhaps this order of priority shows us that to really become a great sportsman requires you to become a great human being first. But we can say this for sure. Dwight Howard's followed Mamba's legacy pretty closely and gave LeBron a run for his Nike money until both players became crucial rivals turned allies to Dwight's journey too. Just as Dwight's part of an elite group that's shared touches with both the players, there's another who's often put forth as Dwight's predecessor in size and stature, and who's also played with both Kobe and LeBron on the court several times over his NBA career, Shaquille O'Neal. And you can bet the Hall of Famer responded with a slam dunk to the ageless question of what's the difference between Kobe and LeBron. Coming up, O'Neal rebounds the question and turns it on its head. To O'Neal, anything short of the best won't do. His huge frame, even for a basketball star, makes it harder to rise to his standards, much less his height. But Shaq doesn't prefer to slot his teammates in basketball terms. No, for the greatest basketball Hall of Famer ever, that simply wouldn't do. Instead, O'Neal lobs back the ball at us and asks us who of the two we would choose as our CEO. And he's got data to back it up. First-hand accounts as the Hall of Famer's seen these two in action and behind the scenes. Following up, what makes LeBron and Kobe so different, yet so similar? Showing that all stars do think alike, perhaps, it's no surprise that O'Neal confirms Dwight's answer, or the other way around, as Shaq gave the difference between the Black Mamba and the kid from Akron before Dwight did, way back in 2011. We'll save you the suspense. To Shaq, they're both CEO material, but their methods and strengths differ from each other. On one hand, LeBron's more practical in some ways, passing to an open. The beloved player's nickname, the Akron, might stand for his community spirit. He's playing to win, and if the path to that goes through a pass to a teammate, so be it. But Mamba is more of a one-man machine. He obviously does play to a win, as shown by his averages, but he counts most on himself. That also makes him the hardest on himself. This shows in his regular practicing, studying, and leveling up his game day in and day out. That doesn't mean he sidelined his teammates either, but it does mean they've got to keep up because the Mamba's not looking back or backing off from his goal. Finally, Shaq both sees and feels the difference. To one of the most gifted in size, height, and sheer talent Hall of Famers ever, LeBron's a twin in each of these. The kid from Akron, too, was gifted from the start since he was a kid. On the other hand, KB24, while no stranger to the gift of genetics himself, had to add to it with sheer will. Sometimes not being an all-out genetic basketball talent is a gift, since the little flying warrior simply had to match it up to turn himself into the Black Mamba. And that's a wrap on this video. What makes the two GOATs stand out from each other and why? Do share your thoughts with us in the comments below. And if you liked the video, be sure to press the like button and always remember to subscribe to our channel for more content like this. We'll see you at the next one.